What's up, y'all? Fortify here. Got another video for you guys. Today we're gonna be going over the bonus instrumental fortification event that's going on right now. It lasts till February 24th. So I'm gonna give you my recommendations on what arts to level up for DPS, troll, tank, and healer. So let's get into it. All right, so the first art we're gonna cover is Purified Pages of the Black, also known as a book art. The main thing to take away from this is you get 45% might buff, as long as your health stays above 50%. So really good art, 45% might buff, can't beat it. Next art we're gonna cover is Gemini. Now this depends on the type of player you are. If you're like a scoreboard chaser, you want to do the most damage as possible, then this is the art you want to do. The only downside is you have to get your procs off. And when I say that is, for DPS you get Polar's Gauge or Polar's Gaze. So for 6 seconds, if the player's not under the same effect, cooldown 6 seconds. So pretty much you can't proc your EOG at the same time someone else has theirs out. So if you're running with 4 other DPSs and they all have EOGs, they all got 3 supercharges, it might be difficult to proc your EOGs off. So that's the only downside to this art, but it does more damage. You get 5% might buff if you use a 5k. And let's see, you do 16% more damage, or damage dealt again, and 30% more damage dealt again, standing in the Polar's Gaze. Then it's a 5k or 10k, and yes, 5% might. So it's a pretty good art. Like I said, it's still good art, but the downside is it's proccing it with other DPSs running it. You know, so like I said, you run it for the DPSs, they got 3 or 4 supercharges in sometimes. Good luck. You know, if you're not good at it, good luck. Now, alternative is Pirate Flute. Still a good art. You're guaranteed to get your procs off, so you got a chance to do 15% more damage, 30% more damage, or 45% more damage if you have it at 200, obviously. The only downside is it only works for supercharges that do damage, that do might damage outside of Rage's Berserk. So if you got Circuit Breaker or Neo Venom, it's not going to proc this art. So I'll say roll with EOG if you're using Circuit Breaker or Neo Venom in your rotation. All right, so let's go to Kindle Neuron. So we're gonna cover these two. These are kind of like the same art in a sense. So for Kindle Neuron, mathematically speaking, this is the better art. There was a video on it when it first came out, whatnot, and they broke it down mathematically, which was better. And eventually Kindle Neuron was the better art, technically, mathematically. But I'll say for hallways, since things die so fast, Trains is the better option. For boss fights, I'd say Candle's the better option. Now they both give you a crit buff, 15% crit chance for this one, and you have a chance to do 15% crit damage when you proc the soul signature. Not when you proc it, but when you hit the move in your ability. And for this is just a passive, so 20% crit chance and 30% crit magnitude. So you can choose either or you rock both of them at the same time. You know, I see DPSs that rock both of them. Some are one or the other. It's up to you, I guess. Some people swear by Trans, some people swear by Candle, so it's up to you. So next one we're gonna go over is Crab Soul Cloak. Right now in the meta is a supercharge spam. You need this to spam supercharges. You generate more supercharge and you get more supercharge in return when you use this. So it's kind of self-explanatory. I have this down here. This is like an alternative, I guess you should say, but I say you get this one. But if you do have this right now and you're working on other arts, you can put this instead if you do have it. But I have it because it's it generates supercharge as well, but not as much as scrap, and scrap gives you supercharge in return. So you know, if you do have this at 200 by for any reason whatnot, then you can invest in any of these arts up here and then work on this last if you want to, or you can feed it to scrap. It's up to you what you want to do, but it's an alternative in case you do have this. You can put in your 5 spots if you don't have that many arts to begin with and you already have it leveled up. Next one is Omega. Mega right now, I say every power needs this outside of one if your power has been revamped or it's finna be revamped. Looks like, you know, they're going to give the same treatment for Hardlight that they did for Water. So you kind of don't need Mega. You don't need Mega for Water right now, as of now. And it's probably gonna happen with Hardlight 2 as well. So if your power hasn't been touched at all, I say go ahead and, you know, you can still use this art right here. It's still a strong art. Damage doesn't split, hits hella targets within a certain radius, and it's still a finisher, so it's still a strong art regardless. Next art is Sinestро's Corrupted Power Ring. It's a good art for passive damage, good for hallways, alerts and stuff like that. If you're a troll power, I say go ahead and level this up. Use it for both roles. It's a good DPS art and a good troll art too as well. So it's a good art for passive damage on the DPS side of things. This is strat card, so they're both the same art, but this art is way better, hits harder. So if you do have strat card, you can go ahead and invest into these other arts first, and then come back around. And Sinestro Ring is still irrelevant. By the time you come back around, you can go ahead and feed your strat card into Sinestro's Ring. But they're both for passive damage. I'm not saying level up strat card, but in case you do have strat card, just level up the good arts first, like your book, EOG, trans or whatnot. And then obviously, like I said, come back around. If Sinestro Ring is still relevant, go ahead and feed that strat card into that if you want to, or you can keep it. You can just level up Sinestro's Ring by itself. It's up to you. So we got Ebon for the last art. Ebon right now is coming back because powers don't need a mega anymore, so you don't have to use a finisher. So like I said, for water right now, it's probably gonna have a hard light and 30% might buff. That's the best way to explain it. So you got 30% might buff, 45% might buff. Can't really beat it. Only downside is it uses a lot of power, so you gotta have a good troll in the group. All right, so let's get down to the bottom right here. This is just completely off to a different category, I guess I should say. So this is for pet DPSing, Sword Shard, Mercy, and Grim. Throw this down here too if you want to for pet DPSing. I'm not saying it's not meta, but you know, if you want to be a pet DPS, this is the arsenal you'll level up. If you want to be a pet DPS, if you're die hard, you want to do this. The pet thing with Fury or Crystal, whoever, this would be the arsenal you'll level up. If you want to be a pet DPS. Now, are you going to be hitting hard as the guys rocking these? Nah, but if that's how you want to play the game, these arts that you can level up if you want to. But like I said, you're not going to be hitting as hard as the guys rocking these up here. So you got 5 spots, and I say choose from this whole row right here plus book. Like I said, you can swap these two out if you want to. If you feel like, you know, you don't want a scoreboard chase and you want to get your guaranteed procs off using supercharges, go ahead and swap that if you want to. It's up to you. But I say this whole row right here and book would be the DPS arts I recommend that you level up and invest to. All right. All right, so let's get into the troll arts. So the first art we're gonna go over is a Claw. This is like your best buff art that you can have as a troll. So you give 7% might, give 7% resto, dominance, crit chance magnitude, and it's a strong art for the group. It buffs your group up. You don't have to have a certain amount of stats. It's just a straight up buff for the group at 200. Number 1 buff art in the game right now. So this is a must have for a troll. I say go ahead and get this leveled up to 100. And let's see, next art we're gonna cover is Row. It's gonna make your debuff 50% stronger, and it spreads the debuff to 7 other targets at 200. So once the tank groups up all the ads, you throw 1 debuff, everybody within that radius has a debuff for the most part, once it's not more than 7 people, or 7 enemies, I should say. So it's a good art. Like I said, make the debuff stronger and spreads them. So I say these 2 for sure, level up first as a troll. Now for this next row, obviously it's 5 spots, so you're gonna have to level 1 of these to get your 5 arts that you want to. Like I said, these 2 are must have, I should say. And so let's get to Sinestro. Sinestro Ring, it builds a super, provides a debuff, gives you power back. Amazing art, especially in a meta where supercharged spam is a thing. So you can spam your group shield that gives power back to the group and shields the group. Works amazing. And then, like I said, from the DPS side of things, you can DPS with this art too as well. So good art as well, but for troll side, still a good art. Purify Pages of Black, you get a 30% VIT bonus wearing this art. So can't go wrong with 30% VIT. So you want to do that and rock this, as long as your health stays above 50%, you get 30% increase in VIT. So good art. And dominance too, dominance and resto, so your shield should be stronger. when you pop the group shield for the group. So awareness art is actually pretty good. So we got branded Hecate. I'll say Hecate is good. Refreshes the debuffs. Like I said, you're going to be rocking Claw. These two go hand in hand because you can't dump power when you have Claw in. So this is going to be your power dump move if you have Claw in. So it's going to help provide the group with power. If you don't have a supercharge ready yet, keeps the group juiced up with power, and refreshes the debuffs as well. And does a decent amount of damage too. Next art is going to be Tetra. Now the thing with Tetra is it goes off your stats. So if your stats aren't as strong, you don't have the skill points to spec into health or whatever the case may be, your buff that you're giving to the group isn't going to be as effective. Now it is double with the control roll, so you get 4% of your health converted into might for the group. But like I said, if your stats are low, your gear's low, and you don't have skill points to invest in health, then buff is not as strong. That's why I said Claw is the better art, because it's a 7% buff flat out. No matter what gear you have on, how weak you are, you're still giving the group a decent amount of buff. But yeah, it's still a good art. Like I said, the stronger you are and how you spec stuff like that, the stronger your might's going to be for the group. And then we got Scrap. Like I said, Scrap's good if you want to spam supercharge, spam shields. You can use like Word of Power, Group Shield, the new Iconic, spam those 3 out. Keep the group shielded and powered up. So this is the art you can think about. The next art is Bob. Now, got Bob down here. It's still very convenient. So if you do have it, you can still use it. It's convenient. The reason why it was extremely convenient, because we had one tray and it had all the debuffs. So you didn't have to waste spots in your tray, in your loadout, with extra debuffs. And Bob did that for you. Now we have 2 trays. Now you can put those debuffs moves in your tray and you don't have to use Bob. But Bob is still, it's convenient. Especially if you pair it with Rao. It spreads the debuffs to all those enemies, all 3 debuffs, and it gives power back. So Bob, if you do have this art, I wouldn't say get rid of it, but if you don't have it at all, I wouldn't level it up. That's my take on Bob. Like I said, if you have it, go ahead and keep it. It's still convenient. It still gives out power. If you pair it up with Rao, everybody in the grouping gets all 3 debuffs. They all get power back. So it's still a good art. It's not a bad art. It's just that fact with 2 trays is not needed. You know what I'm saying? Then we got these 2 arts down here. Honestly, you don't need these 2 at all. I just happen to have them. Just in case I come up with any builds I feel like it's beneficial, I should say. One boosts the group's health based off of it, and the other boosts Prec, and Prec hasn't came back yet. So, these 2 are just kind of sitting here waiting to be used for a solid build. But I'll say choose from these right here. These 2 rows right here be my recommendation on which controller arts to level up and invest into. These 2 for sure, and then you can choose from here. All right. All right, for healing, this is going to be real quick. It's not that many arts to go over for healing. The first art is going to be Page of Destiny. This art is pretty much gives your group a safety net, and it turns your group heal from 4 to 6 people. So good art. With the blue lantern ring, we got 2 group heals now, so that benefits it a lot. Might get more down the line too, as far as like group heals itself. Purple healing ray, good art. Gives you power back. Resets the cooldown for priority heal and group heal. Provides a shield and provides healing over time depending on which move you use for this art. So 2 good healing arts. Right now the meta is EOG healing, so EOG, obviously you need EOG for EOG healing. So you want to have Caster's Watch of 200. You can get away with it at 160 until you get at 200, but let's see, it restores a certain amount of supercharge based off of the 5k, 2.5k, and a 10k. Right now the 10k gives more supercharge back. That's why if you see an LOG need a 10k healer, this is it right here for EOG. So you want to spam your 10k as much as possible, give the group supercharge back while also healing you as well. And of course you need Scrap and Soul Cloak. These go hand in hand. Scrap and Soul Cloak and EOG or supercharged spam. So these are going to be your main 4 for EOG healing. And then you have options. If you do have Quizlet, continue to use Quizlet. Right now it's going to be new art supposedly coming out. That's going to be a healer art. It's going to replace Quizlet. So if you don't have Quizlet, I wouldn't say level up. I don't know. I wouldn't say level them up. I say just use like book. Use these 5 if you don't have Quizlet. I wouldn't say level up Quizlet. It's probably gonna get replaced when this new art drops, if it is the art that everybody says it is, that leaked. So that's my recommendation. Another option is transformation card if you do have it, and strat card if you do have it. But I wouldn't level these up for healer arts. These are just if you do have it, you don't have book or any other arts to heal with, you can use these to heal with. And this one, this is mainly it works well for alerts if you want to use it for alerts. So it puts a 4-man shield on your group and weapon attacks heal you. So I'll say use it for alerts, but other than that, I wouldn't really invest into it. But if you do have all these arts leveled up and you want to level up another healing art, this wouldn't be a bad one to use. If you want to use it for like alerts or something like that, you can pair it up with these 2 right here. And spec and prec a little bit, prec and resto. Might do a little battle heal build if you want to. But yeah, that'll be it. And like I said, these 4 right here are going to be your primary healing arts. And then the pure EOG build will be these 5 right here. But if you don't have Quizlet, use book. You don't have book, use trans. You don't have trans, use strat. And that's pretty much it for healing, honestly. When new art drops, it's going to be these 4 right here, plus a new art right here. So healing's pretty simple. There's no other healing arts like that, honestly. Do not level up orb. I think it's called Orb of Orion. Do not level that art up. Please do not level that art up by any means. It sucks. It drains up all your power. No, don't level it up. Please don't. All right. But yeah, that's all the healing art. So let's get into the tank cards. All right, let's get into tanking. So this first row right here, I would say are the must-haves for tanking in 2026. Purify Pages of Black, have it at 200. You get a defense buff, resto buff, dominance buff, the stuff you need as a tank. Like literally all the major stats you need as a tank: resto, dom, and defense. Get what, 30%? Yep, 30% buff and increase incoming healing as well. So this is a pretty strong art for tanks. I highly recommend this art. Get it maxed out if possible. Next art is Lazarus Pit. It's pretty much your safety net, your old shit moments in the game. In case your healer dies, or in case you slip up, you ain't paying attention, you forgot to block or something like that. It's your safety net to stay alive, And on top of that, you get a free revive. Nobody has to pick you up. You get immunity, like not immunity, but like immortality phase, I guess, when you turn green. You can't get knocked out, but you do have to get healed up to 100% to get out that phase. But real strong art, highly recommend for tanking. Manacles of Force. This is going to absorb all those big hits, and it resets the cooldown for your shields, depending on what shield it is. It's pretty much every power's main shield. Density, Gemstone, Immolation, Redirect Rage, Winter Ward, and your shield cooldowns are reduced by 10%. Can't beat it. So let's get into Mystic Symbols of the 7. Now this is really good for hallways and ads. The reason why it's good for hallways and ads because it heals you 4 times within 1 second for every ad near you. Not for every ad near you, but 4 times in 1 second. You increase your defense by 5% for every ad near you. You get maximum 20% defense. Increase healing received by 10%. Real good if you got a lot of ads, a boss have a lot of ads, or hallways a lot of ads. Free heals and increase your defense as well. So that's why I have at this tier. In this tier, Refractor, pretty much your dominance is converted into health. So if you have a lot of dominance, hitting the pool will convert that into health. So if you want the tankiest build, it'll probably be this 5 right here. If you want the pure tank build and the invincible build, I'll say that. If you're fire, you probably swap out Refractor for Everyman if you want to be the tankiest build. But yeah, these are the 5 I probably recommend. but obviously each power and how you play, you know, can change on what 5 you want, but these 3 for sure. And then everything after that is up to you, honestly, what you want to sub out and how, what you want to do to your play style and stuff like that. So let's get into Red Tornado. Red Tornado is kind of a battle tank artifact in a sense. Gives you 25% might, you do more damage, but all the damage you do, you get healed for 15% of it. Now, I will say for brick tanking for Earth, it's amazing art. Amazing art, because all your pet damage turns into heals. I posted a video about it. Y'all can go check it out. Yeah, all your pet damage turns into heals. That includes your trinket pets, your summon pets, and all that stuff. So I say good art for Earth tanking with brick. And I guess battle tanking if you're into battle tanking. It's up to you. Then we got Heart of Ices. Now if you want to do a supercharge build, that's why I got these 3 right here. If you want to do like a supercharge build with Heart of Ices, it does buff you up, your defense and health up. And you can buff the group health up as well too with this art. So if you want a supercharge build with Heart of Ices, you can do that as well. Obviously Scrap Soul Cloak works hand in hand with EOG and Heart of Ices. Then you got like I said, EOG. One thing about EOG is if you're rocking with EOG healer, you're gonna be bumping heads, fighting for the procs, the green procs. So it's situational. Know your healer, I guess. If your healer isn't rocking greens, then go ahead and slap this on. You get supercharge in return, and it heals you as well. So still a good art. Cersei's Mask. So when your shield is broken, your incoming healing is increased by 30%, 6 seconds. Pretty solid art. I say if you're ice, this will be the art for you. Now you do get increased healing from book, so it's kind of like overkill as far as increased healing. But if you want to be like the tankies for, you know, ice or whatever power you are, I guess you can pop that in if you want to. I do rock it on my ice character. Healers don't have a problem. Like the baby healers that heal me when I rock it on my ice tune, they have no issues healing me at all. Because the increased healing stacks with this. I wish there was a way to check your increase incoming healing, and there's not, but that'd be kind of cool if you can actually see it. But anyways, Cersei Mask solid if you got a lot of shields. I do know the White Lantern ring provided a shield, so if you got it to level 2, you do get a shield from that. Top of your shields, that's your normal loadout, and the iconic Heartlight shield too as well. So you do have access to 3 shields, at least a minimum of 3 shields. So yeah, Cersei Mask for that. Yeah, Everyman prototype. I would say Everyman is good for fire only. Now, we do have Lex Luthor ally, and it kind of works the same way, right? Your defense is increased when you get below a certain health pool, health percentage. So if you got Lex Luthor, you don't need Everyman. And like I said, if you do rock it, I'll say only for fire, because it converts your max health into defense, and fire is the only one with a lot of health. The other tanks don't have that much health, so you're not gaining that much defense when you pop it Everyman. If you're, let's say, ice, earth, you know what I'm saying, you're not gaining that much defense. Maybe rage, but even rage doesn't need it. Rage has the rage crash mechanic, so you don't need Everyman prototype. I'll just recommend it. If you do level up, make sure you're fire, right? That's my 2 cents on it. And these arts right here are just, you know, your play arts. This works well for break tanking for Earth. That's literally the only power or way of tanking that you rock this artifact. So if you do Earth tanking, you can rock these 2. Strategist card, you can rock it as fire. If you don't have like any other tank cards, let's just say that, you know, you just started tanking and you got the main 3, these 3 right here, and you know you're looking for, I don't know, you're working on your 4th right now. Let's say you're working on this one, you're working on leveling up, and you happen to have strategist card, because strategist card and trans card were like the first 2 artifacts people kind of wolf pack, because there was the first 2 arts for the most part that were efficient when wolf packs dropped. So a lot of people have strategist card Wolfpack just sitting in their bank, chilling, collecting dust. You could rock this setup as fire, and it's going to proc strat card with your heals, and you're going to get extra heals as fire or whatever power. I know a lot of powers can heal right now. You got Magma Vortex and you got the Blue Lantern Ring, so you can get away with some heals that get proc strike card. So you can do that. And then we got Clarion. If you have high resto and want to do some healing and some alerts and play around with it, this is an option. I wouldn't say I recommend leveling up, but if you have all these other arts leveled up, maxed out, and you ain't got nothing else to level up, you want to level up something, you can play around with this if you want to. Do I recommend it? No, but if you want to play around it, you got no metal to spend on anything else in the game, go ahead. It's completely up to you. But yeah, that's all the tank arts in the game. Well, not in the game, but I'll say I recommend. Like I said, these three right here are going to be your bread and butter for a while, and everything else is going to be optional based on how you play, what power you are. But as long as you got these three, man, you can pretty much tank anything, and these just help assist on what you want to do and how you play the game. So yeah, that's it for tanking. So that concludes the video, y'all. Let me know if I missed any arts that are relevant. Pretty sure I covered everything. I appreciate y'all for watching. Hopefully you do take what I say and apply it to the 2x fortification weekend, or week I should say, and level up your arts, man. Try to make everybody better, man. Just try to be informative as possible to cover all the arts. I do play all roles. Am I the best player in the game? No, but I do know what I'm doing for each role, and I'm pretty efficient in each role, I should say. So yep, that's gonna be it, y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Catch y'all later. Peace.